I'm feeling good tonight. Hello, hello. Yes, yoga and digging into this root chakra that has so many of us imbalanced and not knowing what to do with ourselves sometimes. Hey, hi. I'm just giving a few minutes to see who else will come on, and I'm just going to start talking. Y'all know me, I'm going to get started talking. I have a whole lesson, a whole lesson on the root chakra, what it is, what it means to be balanced, what it means to be imbalanced, and movement that will support it. So just cleaning the air. And then it'll be reposted. It'll be reposted. The root chakra, the root of it all. So let me kind of show the display in the back because I'm such a teacher, right? We go ahead and come. My notes. And for those who are here, thank you. I'm not going to necessarily just wait for a room full or anything of that nature. In fact, let me adjust this one more time. I'm going to go ahead and get started with what I'm going to do, because that's what I have to do. And I'll adjust as needed. All right. So, of course, in yoga, typically, yoga, we have lots of modifications. Just to begin, because I said this is a beginning series, and in it being a beginning series, I want to ensure that those who are beginning are aware of what we do and what we use. So, for instance, this is a bolster, okay? This is a yoga bolster. It's used for support. It's used for restorative yoga. It's used for prenatal yoga. It's used as a modification for your flexibility and opening your hips. For instance, it requires more of a stretch in your body if you're just seated flat on the floor or on the mat. So when you lift the seat, it actually gives you more room to get into the stretch, to get into the flexibility. So oftentimes you'll see yogis seated on their bolster, or, if you're still working your flexibility, or we're seated on our beloved Mexican blankets that all yogis have. Mine are authentic from Cancun. Authentic from Cancun, but, and I like to put mine under my heels. So, the root chakra, this is week 1, day 1 of the Wholebody by Sweettea Wellness Series. Beginning Yoga Wellness Series. This is for my newbies. This is for my novice yogis. This is for those who may just be interested in learning what yoga is about. How can yoga help? What is a chakra? How does that connect to my life and my understanding of anatomy and physiology and, the mental? So what I want to do is share some insights about the root chakra, because we're going to start with the base. So here on my display, I have the 7 chakras. And the 7-week series will go through the 7 chakras, as I mentioned before. So tonight, this week, the focus is on the root, the base, which is reflected by the color red. And oftentimes the crystals will be like a red crystal, like the red jasper. And the root is the base area. So oftentimes it's reflective of the area from the base of your feet, the ankles, the calves, the knees, the hams, the hips, the groin area, you know, that perineum. And some people say up through the first 3 vertebrae. And then that's sort of where it pauses. So that is the root chakra. Now you may ask, what is a chakra? Well, a chakra is, think of an energy sensor. So we all know that we say our human body is made of energy. Okay. Oftentimes when a loved one passes, you know, we will say things such as, well, we know the energy never dies, it transitions. However, then you have those moments when it comes to spirituality where sometimes people's societal belief systems become conflicted. They think, you know, spirituality is something that's not really substantial, especially if you're raised sometimes in a, you know, under a Christian label in our society, and your belief is solely in the Bible. But it's all connected. It's all connected. Your chakras are energy sensors that go up through the body, starting at the base, up through the crown. Think of it as vortexes, and each chakra connects to a function. Okay, so that's why we can say when a particular chakra is unaligned, it's affecting that region of the body that it's connected to. And there are yoga asanas that can support it coming back into balance. Before we get into that, though, I really wanted to also stress the fact that, you know, for those same people, you know, you can take in the information as you need from your perspective. So if you're more of a science-based person in your logic, then you can take the physical descriptors solely from that science perspective, okay? Because every asana has a physical benefit. It has an internal and external benefit for your body. So that's your science that we'll talk about. And if you are more in tune to the psychological aspects and the spiritual aspects of it, you know, in addition to the physical, then you can take in the information from that perspective, because every asana supports the release of stress, that emotional stress, mental stress, and a balance of your psychological and spiritual needs. Now, I will say, yogis or yoga instructors are not therapists. So we're not saying go to yoga and you can cure all psychological mental ailments. But what we are saying is that it supports it, because you are what you eat. So if you engage in bodily movement and breathing techniques. So we talked about breathing before. Pranayama is the force of life. You're giving your body the oxygen it needs. So if you engage in certain breathing techniques and certain movement of the body, as well as incorporating proper foods, you will begin to come into balance. There are roots and herbs, literally herbs, that support mental health, that support emotional health, okay, that support physical needs. And so if you engage in those practices, your mental, emotional, and physical state will elevate. It will. And that's without the use of a pharmaceutical drug. So that is my goal, to share this information for our communities, because I feel that, you know, not enough of us are aware, and not enough of us engage and just really get into our indigenous practices of our ancestry. So breaking it down through the 7 chakras, I feel like it's a way to showcase, again, both the yoga asanas, the holistic food aspects. It's chunked insights that are manageable for, again, those of us who are new, that don't want to be overwhelmed, who feel like, oh, I can't do this lifestyle change immediately. How do I chunk it? I'm chunking it for you in a 7-week series. You just have to be dedicated to coming in, taking the time, practicing the asanas each week that I show to you, coming back on the second day, recapping the asanas, and then incorporating the foods that I share with you guys. And in the end, I'll upload all of this to my YouTube anyway. So you can always go back and view the videos and practice on your own. Now, I mentioned what chakras are. I also want to talk about the connection. You know, again, when I like to ensure that people understand that the energy is real, okay? Spirituality is very real. When we talk about the universe and our ancestors, that energy exists. It's very real. So the chakra systems are not new. They're thousands of those, 60,000 BC beyond. It's cross-continental and cross-cultural. So you have the Hindu chakra system, okay? You have an Asian chakra system. You have chakra systems that are present in the motherland, in Egypt, the Zulu tribe, in the Yoruba tradition. There are chakras that literally connect to the Orishas, if that is your belief system. You have chakra systems that are in South America. Okay, you have chakra systems that were here that connect to our native Aboriginal people here in North America. So it's cross-continental. This is not anything fictitious. There are many cultures that engage in their version of it. And again, that's because energy is real. All right. So that is what we're going to approach the Beginning Yoga series through. We're approaching it through the notion that energy is real, and we're going to tap into it to ensure we are aligned. This is how we practice self-care. This is how we're able to take control of our lives. We can create our own lives. We can create our own happiness. And how do you do so? By being aware of the energies that are present in your body, and governing your mental and emotional needs and physical needs through holistic health practices. And those holistic health practices are what I would love to share with my community moving forward today through yoga and, again, the foods that support those areas. So you can control how you feel. You can control how you look, okay? You can manage your physical wellness through preventative measures. And I am pleased to present this information to you guys, okay? You have the power within. It's just up to you to tap into it. It's up to you to tap into the power that you already possess to take control of your life. So it's more than a new year. It's a new life, should you choose to tap into the powers that you're already born with, okay? So let's start with this root chakra. Again, I stated before that the root chakra is the base area. So technically the root chakra is the energy that governs the base of the feet. Okay, let's extend that leg. It governs the base of the feet, the ankles. So we work ankle joints, calves, quads, hams, opening up the hips and the groin area, the lower groin, the perineum. All right, and again, up to the lower 3 vertebrae. Now, what does all that mean? That means if you're an educator, for instance, connect this to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm going to talk to my teachers out there. Remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, yeah, right? That foundation, if the foundation is out of whack, our kids aren't doing anything moving forward, right? Moving up. It's the same with the chakras. If your root chakra is imbalanced, if your foundation, your safety net, family is out of whack, if you have fears, if you're worried about money, if you have childhood trauma, if all of these things are still going on in your life and it's imbalanced, it's going to affect everything else going up, if that makes sense. So in yoga and holistic health, we have asanas and movement that can support that. So what I would like to do is just talk about, if you have imbalances in the root chakra, they're like inconsistencies in your life. If you find yourself being inconsistent, if you're finding yourself like just always easily distracted, and I'm not talking about these in isolation. I'm talking about if you have multiple, all of these factors going on. Inconsistencies, you're easily distracted, anxiety, depression frequently, anger, maybe anger that even turns to rage, okay? If you have eating disorders, okay, constipation because of the root chakra governing that lower groin area, that's inclusive of like the bladder, the bowel region of your body. So constipation, a lot of people that have that sciatic nerve issue, okay, fibroid issues, chronic fatigue, and I mentioned like because it governs the leg and knee, so leg and knee problems. Even those people who are like excessive drug users, heavy drug users, alcohol, sexual dysfunctions. I don't want to say promiscuity because people do what they do, and you know we try not to be judgmental, but a lot of that all of that connects to the root chakra, period. Those imbalances. And as I just mentioned, that means that there could be traumas and different things that happen in the life. You're not grounded. Your life is feeling unstable. So how do we support that? Well, let's get into it. All right. So a beginning asana that helps to balance the root chakra, or even if you are balanced and you are grounded and you are stable in your life and you're feeling good, but you still want to work on that root chakra, for instance, because that governs the hips and your hips are tight and the hips hold stress. So contrary to popular belief, many people feel that stress is here and also here in this nape area, right? We're always assuming, oh, I'm stressed, I have a headache. Oh, I'm stressed, my neck is hurting. Yeah, it does trickle up, but do you know where it is? It's here. The hips hold the bulk of stress in your body. The hips. So if you've ever gotten a massage, for instance, and when they hit this region of the hips, it's total euphoria, right? Because they're releasing the stress that's contained in the hips, all right? That holds maximum stress. So, again, a beginning asana is just literally a seated asana. So this is number one. And y'all know I'm going to teach this on a minute. I'm going to get a piece of chart paper and put it up on the wall. I'm going to put it up on the wall, the chart paper. And I'm going to go back and recap it for you. Seated asanas. So just to recap, an asana is a position in yoga. So when I say asana, that means a position. So literally, this is called Sukhasanam, or easy pose. You guys may reference it as like crisscross applesauce, right? We're just seated. We're seated, legs crossed. Again, as a teacher, I go back to the classroom. If you're teaching elementary, the kids, you're in a circle, you tell them to sit crisscross applesauce. This literally begins to open the hips. Now, keep in mind, you must erect the spine. So you want to inhale and exhale. You want to erect your spine. You want to pull the lower back in. You want to inhale the shoulders up. And on the exhale, rotate the shoulders back and pull them down. You already feel the difference. Inhale again. Rotate the shoulders back, pull them down. So you want to ensure your spine is erected because this is your force of life. This is your breathing passage. And you want to ensure, again, you're pulling in as much oxygen as possible. Your body feeds off the oxygen. Your muscles need the oxygen. Your body is replenished with oxygen. Inhale one more time. Inhale the shoulders up, pull them back. So this is a very, very beginning asana that literally begins to calm you because you're breathing. It's called Ujjayi breathing, the deep inhale. And then release. You can inhale through the nostrils and release orally through the mouth. You can then inhale through the nostrils and release through the nostrils. And you can alternate that. Inhale through the nostrils, release through the mouth. Inhale through the nostrils, release through the nostrils. That literally begins to calm your body and open the hip. Now to build on that, I like what's called Agni Stambhasana or fire log. If you're familiar with yoga, think pigeon. So we take that one leg and cross it over, but we're seated. So I'm going to get on the bolster just to, because I feel like I'm more visible. So still seated, you're going to take your right leg. And you want to pull your left leg a bit under you. Now this right leg, I like to say you want to maybe create an L if you can, as much as you can. And you want to flex the foot. Now, if you're struggling with flexibility right now, which is fine, that's fine because your stretch is your stretch. If you feel your muscle stretching, that's your stretch. You're already working it. Your stretch doesn't have to be anyone else's. Yoga meets you where you are. So you want to flex that foot. And if your knee is up here and you're feeling it, then you leave it there and you breathe into it. You inhale and you exhale. And you keep that spine erect. If you can inhale and then push that knee down to get more of a deeper stretch in that hip, because again, this is a hip opener. That's what you do. And you breathe into it. So as you pull in the oxygen, you exhale the carbon dioxide. You're getting rid of the dirty air, essentially. You're pulling in the clean air that the muscle needs. So you inhale and exhale as you push into the stretch. Push into that muscle. And that is how yoga works, even through the regular asanas. You inhale and you exhale as you're creating that resistance or that press into your muscle that you guys would typically say, oh, that hurts. You know, it hurts. No, breathe. You breathe into it. So this is fire log. And it is a stretch. It is a hip opener. And what we do on the right side, we do on the left side in yoga to ensure you have a balance. So now I pull the left leg underneath. And I'll take pull the right leg underneath. And this is my left leg. And I'm going to do the same thing. Flex my foot. And the bottom foot is flexed. And I'm going to create, I like to call it an L. Or you can create a 90-degree angle almost, essentially. And you want to sit upright. And breathe. And open that hip. Again, you can press that knee down as much as you can. And it may feel different on this side. So, yoga brings awareness to the body. You may realize that your left side, for instance, may be more tight, maybe tighter than the right. It may be more flexible. It brings awareness to the body. You may find that you have to lean over a bit. You might have a slight case of scoliosis. Yoga brings awareness to the body. Either way, you're working your muscle and you're stretching it and you're creating that flexibility and you're releasing stress and tension by simply sitting in the asana and taking deep inhales. Hold. Exhale. Deep inhale. Hold. Deep exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. And the practice also builds lung capacity, by the way. Yoga breathing, the practice of pranayama builds lung capacity. And you never know when you may need to hold your breath. Hold your breath. All right. The next two poses I want to show you guys. So again, that was Sukhasanam, which is easy pose, and fire log. Those are two seated, just sitting down. So if you're sitting in your living room, just sit in a seated asana. You're opening the hips, but just make sure you're erect. Don't slump. You have to pull that lower back in, erect the spine, inhale the shoulders up and back, pull them down, and breathe. And you're opening the hips, and you're releasing stress, and you're working the flexors, okay? Easy way to begin basic yoga hip opening. The second asana I want to share with you is Balasana, or child's pose. It is another really good beginning yoga pose that helps to create a balance in the root chakra. Child's pose really eases the mind. Child's pose is a really good asana. If you feel anxiety or your mind is racing before bed, child's pose is a really good asana to do. It calms the mind, and it helps to, it also stretches out the lower back. So it's really good for lower back and shoulder. So it's as simple as this. You want to come to knees. I like to say come to knees. With child's pose, you'll come to knees, and you want to part the knees. So if you're on a yoga mat, for instance, you would want to part your knees the width of the mat. If you're on a towel, it doesn't matter. And you bring your two big toes together. Bring the two big toes together, part the knees, come to heels as much as you can. And then you want to inhale the arms up and bring it down. And you want to extend the body. So let's go this way. You want to extend the body. If you have a towel, and you just bring your forehead to the floor and breathe. And you want to make sure this is back as far as you can bring it down. Extend the arms forward, and your forehead is on the mat or the floor, and you're just breathing. Another variation, you can pull your arms at your side, bring the legs in, and still forehead still on the mat, and just breathe. So, arms extended forward, arms at your side. It's called Balasana, child's pose. And again, child's pose stretches the lower back. So if you have lower back pain, like from sitting all day, especially those of us who are virtual, working virtually from home, that is a really good way to release the lower back. If you have like that sciatic nerve disorder, that is a really good way to ease into that, and you stretch that lower back muscle because it's the lower spine, the lower three vertebrae that I just talked about, the root, and you're extending your torso, and you're opening up the shoulders, you're letting that neck release forward so it relieves the tension in this neck bone, and your forehead is just on the mat or towel, and you're deep breathing, and you just hold it. It literally calms the mind and any anxiety, and it's a great asana again before bed. It's not like you're doing a lot and breaking a sweat, but it helps the body before you're headed to bed. So child's pose, Balasana, as I just modeled. Again, you can extend the arms forward, or as I showed you, arms behind you. Now, getting into a bit more work with the yoga is planking. Planking is still a root chakra movement, although it works core. So for those of you who want to begin core work, this is for you. and it's minimal core work, but it works that core nonetheless. It also helps support posture. So it strengthens your arms. All right. And you need that arm strength in yoga, right? It also strengthens your wrist, and you need wrist strength in yoga. So again, moving up, we started with the 2 seated asanas. We did child's pose, and now I'm going to show you the basic plank. The reason plank is important to do properly is because some people will go into plank improperly, or there are variations depending on maybe certain sports that you've been engaged in. But in a yoga plank, we are very particular about not injuring the body. And with yoga planks, we're particular with ensuring that we take care of our wrists, with ensuring that we breathe, okay? And with ensuring that we're strengthening the proper muscles you need to build on additional asanas that we do in yoga. So a yoga plank may be a bit different from, say, a plank that a coach or someone else may have you do. You also want to ensure that your hips are not lifted too high. Some people will either lift the hips too high or sink the hips to the ground. That can incur a back injury. So again, yoga is gentle strengthening. Yoga is holistic health. So there is no intention on any injury. You build your body naturally inside out through your own weight, your own muscles, at your pace. Your stretch is your stretch. It is not about you competing with anybody. And thank you guys for joining me. So just to show the yoga plank, the first thing you want to do is ensure your arms are proper. So your wrist should never be twisted in or twisted out. Okay, that's the first thing. You always want to ensure your hands, your palms are strong and firm. I like to say, think of a bird claw, okay? We reference animals a lot. But you also want to ensure that this is rotated. So this is your radius and your ulnar bone. It rotates, okay? Sometimes we forget what the wonders of our body. See, it rotates. Yes. And if you double jointed, you just may pop something, okay? So with yoga, you want to ensure, I used to tell my students, no flying chicken wings, okay? You don't do this because all you're doing is asking to hurt yourself. You want to open those palms and rotate the elbows in. And this is how you would hold yourself in a plank. This is how you would hold yourself even in downward facing dog. A lot of the asanas, you're required to ensure those elbows are rotated in and that you're not hunched here. You want to pull the shoulders back, extend the neck, pull your shoulders back so that you don't create tension in the body, all right? Because sometimes we're here. No, pull those shoulders back, extend the neck. Open the palms, strong hands. Rotate those elbows in. Again, here's the flying chicken wing, which is a no-no. Rotate that elbow in. You want your palms under the shoulder. You're not forward up here. You're aligned. You're like a tabletop, okay? So think the 4 legs of a table. The legs must be straight under the shoulder, and the knees must be direct under the hip. You're not back here. You're not up here. So hips aligned, knees aligned under the hip, palms aligned under the shoulder. Pull the shoulders back, extend the neck, breathe. Okay? And then you want to extend that right leg back on the toe. Extend the left leg back on the toe. You're in the plank. Don't do this. That's a half down dog. And don't do this. No. You're holding that core. Look ahead. Don't drop your neck. If you drop your neck, you're actually creating more weight and strain on your body because gravity is pulling. You want to look forward so that your spine stays aligned to the neck. And you want to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Press into that floor. You press into the floor. It's work. It's work. You work your triceps. You work your biceps. your legs, your core, you feel it in your abs. You hold that stomach muscle and breathe. Pull those shoulders back. Make sure you're not hunched and tense around the neck. Look forward. Not up, just forward. And deep breathe. Okay? If you really want to do that, work that, you can come to what we call Dolphin Arms with that plank. And you can drop the elbow. Drop the elbow. And now you're going into like what is called a lower plank. But this is Dolphin Arms. All right? So I just wanted to show the plank variation and ensure you're doing that plank accurately. Again, make sure those elbows are rotated in and you're holding it properly. You're not hunched. Pull those shoulders back. Extend the neck. Don't drop it. You're creating more gravity. You're just giving gravity extra weight to pull on, okay? So, again, that also works the root chakra. I'm going through asanas that work the root chakra, that create a balance, and they're a beginning yoga movement. So we did the 2 seated asanas, Sukhasanam, Agni Stambhasana, easy pose, and fire log, okay? We did child's pose, Balasana, all right, which calms the mind, stretches the lower back, the lower vertebrae of the back, the hips, okay, and that's a great asana to do before bed. And now I just showed you plank, which is still working the root asana and those imbalances of the root asana. And also a variation of plank I just showed you, and all of that works the bicep, the triceps, it strengthens the wrist. So think about, as we get older, think about joint injuries. If you're an athlete, think about those joint injuries. The practice of yoga is a holistic, natural way to ensure this is not easily injured. You need your wrist. So there's a lot of wrist strengthening in the asanas and also in the joints, which we're about to do next. We're going to do Malasana Squat and then going to down dog. All right. So the next asana I want to show you strengthens the ankles. Okay. It strengthens the knee joints and it helps the pelvic region. It helps through the bladder, bowel. It helps it's prostate health for men. Men, this is yours, in addition to plank. Prostate health in men, it strengthens the Kegel in women, it helps digestion, it helps constipation. So again, yoga has, every movement, every asana in yoga has a health benefit. And I just can't stress that enough, and I just want more of my people to know this instead of taking these pharmaceutical drugs that harm you, okay? So, to get into Malasana Squat, it's best to stand. And you want to open the feet. All right. I think this is second position, like in ballet. And turn the toes out. All right. And I like to reach up to extend the body. Take a nice inhale. Bring the palms to heart center. Again, this is beginning yoga, still working the root chakra. All right. And then you inhale again. And you want to come into the squat. Now, if you're a newbie and your hips aren't really open and flexible, you may end up here and you feel it. If you feel the stretch right there, that's your stretch. That's your stretch. That's yours. Because your body is stretching. Your muscles are doing something it's not accustomed to. That is your stretch. Eventually, you will get lower. You will get lower. You will get lower. You will get lower. All right? And the way you hold it, one issue that some people have is they want to get up on the foot. No, this is a flat foot. This is a flat foot asana. So you're flat in the feet. And you want to use your elbows, tuck them inside the knees. And you want to take this tailbone and tuck it, bring it in. So that's the goal. So if you're up here, I still want you to tuck it, okay? I still want you to stay flat foot, and I want you to breathe. Now, you're gonna feel it if your body isn't used to it. You're feeling it here. You're feeling your quads. You're feeling the glutes. That's what you're supposed to feel. You're working the root. If, for instance, you want to continue the practice and you get some of our mods, you can have a block. So that is a modification. Again, yoga meets you where you are. So you can take the block, and depending on how deep you can go, sit on the block. Keep your feet flat, and you practice sitting on the block. Tuck that tailbone, erect your spine, sit upright, and breathe. This is Malasana Squat. You're working that groin area, the constipation, the bowel area, all of that. Prostate health in men, Kegel health in women. And once you can get off the block and really tuck, once you can get off that block and tuck that tail and sit upright, because some people can bring, because of course, y'all, I'm a novice. I'm only a 3-year yogi. The deep yogis can really bring that tailbone down. Okay? They can really bring it down. And our guru men, they can sit in this Malasana Squat, and this is how they meditate 30 minutes, an hour. This is actually a meditation asana. And you can sit here and breathe. So just imagine how this strengthens your ankles. It strengthens your knee joints. It opens up those hips. This is a good hip opener. Again, I told you hips hold more stress in your body than any other region. Don't be fooled. It's not the head. It's not the neck. It's your hips. If you have a headache, you're dehydrated. You have other things going on. You have other things going on if you have a headache. So this is Malasana Squat. And again, the goal is to pull those shoulders back and down. Tuck that tail in as much as you can. Your elbows are in the knees. All right? Your palms are at heart center. And you breathe. And this works the root, and it's calming. It works the root chakra because it helps to relieve the stress, the constipation, and any other issues in this lower area, and it helps digestion. Okay? Now, from Malasana Squat, we're going to go into Adho Mukha Svanasana, or one of the more popular asanas, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog is also a root chakra asana. Downward facing dog strengthens, again, ankles, the backs of your legs. It strengthens your core, your hips. It's a light inversion, so it's brain health. We get so often to being upright, and we don't realize how our brains aren't being fed the blood it needs because gravity is constantly pulling us down this way. So in yoga, you see a lot of people doing inversions. Now, some people like to get fancy with their handstands and, you know, everything. But again, every asana has a benefit. Every asana has a health benefit. So the inversions actually provide brain health. It relieves eye pressure, glaucoma, all right? There are multiple benefits to inverting the body because what you're doing is taking what's up and you're bringing it down. And you're taking what's always down and you're bringing it up. So it's always good to invert the body. And for those of you, of course, like I said, this is beginning yoga series. We have asanas that are still an inversion because, again, you just want what's up, down. So we have an asana that's called legs up the wall. And literally, it allows the blood to come down and optimizes your brain health. But that's not that's not a root chakra move that we're doing today. But I'm just explaining, downward facing dog is an inversion because when you lift the hips and you bring the spine comes down to the head, your heart is above the brain, if that makes sense anatomically. So Downward facing dog. Strengthens the ankles. I gotta pull my hair back, I'm sorry. The back of the legs. You get blood flow to the brain. Arms, backs, and hips. So the easiest way, I showed you when we did plank. I said you have to rotate those elbows in, right? It's important that your body is aligned. I'm just going back through it with you, what I've already showed you. I also showed you how you have to pull those shoulders back. You can't have them hunched around the neck. So you're opening up the strong palms and pressing into the knuckles. You want to press into it. All right? You're rotating the radius and the ulna. The ulna is the pinky side, right? So you want to rotate that radius and the ulna. All right? So think about child's pose when I told you to bring your seat to your heels. Come to heels, but this time your two big toes wouldn't be touching. You want to bring the feet out, okay? Curl your toes under. Drop the forehead to the mat. And you want to pick up. You're going to pick up. Using your toes, you're going to pick up the hips. You're going to drop the forehead. The reason you're dropping the forehead is because you want to keep the spine and the neck going straight down. So you have to keep that spinal health. Open those palms, rotate the elbows, curl the toes under, pick it up, and release it. Now, if you don't have the flexibility right now to straighten your legs, do this. You bend the leg. And let me get your side profile. So you bend that leg. The goal is you want to press, you want to push away from the mat. You want to press back and drop that neck. And breathe. Inhale. So my heart is above my brain. Inhale. And then if you can on the exhale, straighten your legs. My feet are hips width apart. And I'm breathing. You adjust as you need. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. This is a root chakra asana. It's also, believe it or not, a resting asana. That is a resting asana when you're in the midst of a flow. You're resting when you do downward facing dog. But you're getting that brain health. All right, you're getting that flow. That heart is inverted above the brain. You're getting the back support. You're getting the back leg stretch. You're getting ankle strengthening. You're getting wrist strengthening. You're getting the strengthening of the biceps and the triceps and the chest with downward facing dog. All right, and again, it supports the root chakra. Again, we're looking at root chakra. So let's look at the asanas so far. I started you on the floor. We did 2 seated asanas. So for those of you who can't get up right now, you're not ready, I gave you 2 seated asanas to already begin opening up your hips. Just literally by sitting down and relieving stress and breathing. Pranayama, the force of life. Right? Then I gave you child's pose. The one to do at night before bed. Again, you're feeling anxiety. Your mind is racing. This, again, remember, yoga is men and women. Brothers, we all go through it too. Yoga is for you. Remember, women couldn't do yoga till the 20th century. Yoga was a men's practice. In our motherland, not just India, in the motherland. That's why those chakra systems are in the motherland, as I just mentioned earlier. So Western culture has appropriated yoga and has a lot of our men believing it's a female thing. It is not. The strengthening of your body, being healthy, is for everyone. It's in the internal benefits that I'm sharing. And I'm starting with the root chakra to chunk it all for you. All right? So from child's pose, we did plank. Then now we're downward facing dog. And we did Malasana, the Malasana Squat that I showed you guys, Malasana Squat. So now we're going to come back to the floor And this is just a basic. We only got a couple of more, and we're done with the root chakra tonight. All right? Well, with the moves that support the root chakra. On Saturday, I'm actually going to give you some holistic herbs and foods that support the root chakra. So I hope y'all can continue to join me and just spread the word. I'm not doing this for a large crowd. I'm doing this because I truly believe in informing my community, my people, that we have options, that we can take control of our lives, that we can control our destiny, we can control how we feel. We don't need these drugs from these folk. Our ancestors, our people, we have practices that have been with us for thousands of years that Western culture has taken us away from. And we can take care of ourselves and actually have optimal health. Okay? I'm not saying if you're going to get hit by a car or something, you can do yoga. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, in general, there's a lot we can do to take care of ourselves so we don't have to rely on the Food and Drug Administration of America, all right? Because we all know what that's about. So, Janu Sukhasanam, or simply seated head to knee, takes you back to elementary, right? We're gonna, like I said, we start on the right side. So you want to take the left knee and pull it in. I'm sorry, the left foot, pull it in. And extend your right leg forward, flex the foot. Remember, you need to sit upright, erect the spine. And I always like to pull my torso up. I'm short-waisted, so I feel like I always got to kind of pull it up. Inhale, and on the exhale, just come forward. Now, the key to coming forward is not humping your back. Let me show you. When we stretch in yoga, you're not doing a back stretch. So sometimes we do this. And we're thinking, oh, as long as we stretch, we're getting it. No. Yoga is about pulling from this pelvic region to really pull the muscle. So you want to ensure that lower back is pulled in. And your stretch is only where you can stretch with the lower back pulled in. That's your stretch. And you breathe. Your stretch is your stretch. You don't have to match anybody else's. Just make sure your lower back is pulled in. And you hold it and breathe deeply. You breathe in the clean oxygen. You exhale the dirty carbon dioxide. And go into the stretch deep. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So with each exhale, try to go deeper. Okay. And that's just another basic root opening chakra move. And we got to do it on the left side because what we do on the right, we must do on the left. You have to keep the balance. So same thing, pull it in, pull the right foot in, inhale, and I like to grab the bottom of my foot, make sure that lower back is pulled in. If you can bring your head to knee, bring your head to knee. Inhale. On the exhale, try to go lower. Inhale. On the exhale, try to go lower. And breathe. All right. 2 more. Baby Cobra. Come to lie on your stomach. Your feet are behind you, and you're just here. Now, those same palms, I told you need to have strong open palms. That's what we're doing with this. So baby cobra, same as what I told you with the plank. You don't want to have the tension around your neck. So you want to pull the shoulders back and extend the neck. Pull shoulders back, extend the neck. Your palms should be here at like the breast area, the sides of the breast, the rib cage. Your elbows should be pulled in. So again, no flying chicken wings in yoga. Okay? Pull the elbows in, palms are open. So if you know the human body, if your palms are open here at the chest, your neck is extended, shoulders pulled back, you're breathing, you already feel the stretch in the neck, your legs are behind you. Inhale, and on the exhale, press into the palms and breathe out. And you're holding it. This is a press. It's like you're pressing up, but you're just holding it right here. Inhale, side out. Pull those shoulders back. Inhale, side out. You're working your biceps and your triceps. Inhale, side out. So this is called baby cobra. Typically, when we're going through a flow, from baby cobra, we come into full cobra, and then we come into full upward facing dog. Okay? But this goes into another chakra. So I want to keep you here at baby cobra, where again, it's that beginning feel. All right? Pressing into the palms, hands at the chest, shoulders pulled back, neck extended. Inhale. And on the exhale, press up. And yes, you are pressing, and yes, it's like a push-up almost. It's a press-up. Your elbows are at your side. Elbows are not flying out. And that's how you work the tricep. Inhale, side out. Inhale, side out. Okay? So yoga is gentle strengthening. And if you wanted to, from that, you can come right back into downward facing dog. Okay? And from downward facing dog, then you curl your toes up and come right back to plank. Now you're actually getting into a light flow. Coming down, uncurl the toes, press back, curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Curl up on the toes, come back to plank. All right? That's how that works. The last thing for this evening is Tadasana, which is the simplest of them all. All right? Tadasana is simply just standing, but it's how you stand. So in yoga, when we stand in, it's called mountain pose. You're standing tall in front like a mountain. So you take your fist, and your feet are fist width apart. Your toes are north. I like to say north. You know how we stand, sometimes our feet go out, our toes go in. No, you're not pigeon-toed and slew-footed in yoga. In yoga, you're working to stack the bones and align them properly. So, your fists width apart, your toes are forward. And again, depending on how you walk, especially if you walk slew-footed or pigeon-toed, it may feel weird in the knees. It doesn't matter. You want to straighten up. Okay? Inhale. Rotate the shoulders back. And we call this standing firm like a mountain. Palms will face forward. Inhale again. Rotate the shoulders back. And you want to feel the earth under your feet. You want to feel your toes, your heel. You want to feel that balance. So like I like to say, bring your weight to your toes. Bring the weight to the heels. Lift the toes. Feel the weight. This is grounding. This is literally grounding. And you breathe. You clear your mind. With each inhale, whatever is bothering you, you blow it out on the exhale. You have to visualize. Inhale. And visualize whatever that's agitating you is just being blown away. Take your mind to your escape. Maybe it's the ocean. Maybe it's another country somewhere. Maybe it's somewhere in a green forest, a lush tropical forest with nature. Maybe it's an empty desert. Maybe it's your backyard. Maybe it's with a loved one. You close your eyes and you learn to clear your mind. It is a practice. It does not happen overnight. But you practice taking control of your mind. You practice breathing properly to calm your body. You practice doing movement that supports your any physical or emotional or mental ailment you may have. It's a practice. Like anything else that you want to be good at, you practice it. But I promise you, the holistic benefits of yoga and holistic wellness are just, it surpasses the imagination that I would have had. So I shared how I came into the practice in the introduction, and you can just breathe at this time. In yoga, we call it Shavasana, literally when you just lay on your back and breathe. And that's after usually a 60-minute flow. Remember, with us, we're just chunking. We're taking time to chunk things. So I just want to leave you with, on Saturday, I want to share some foods, some holistic and wellness foods that support the root chakra. So I'll do movement on one day and then the foods and herbs on the second day each week for each chakra. That's what I'll do. And thank you to the people who would come in, who visited, who joined. If you peeked in and left, thank you for coming in to support. And for those of you who are interested in the practice, please join me. Next time, I'm going to be, I'm sorry, look, I got a gnat for my plants. I'm going to go live again on Saturday morning to share some foods that support the root chakra and to recap what's done tonight. So I appreciate your support as I work on my health and wellness and share it with my community and those who are interested in elongating their lives. Thank you so much for joining me, focusing on the whole body by Sweettea. Sweettea Talks with Sweettea Yoga. Good night.